Today we're going to be talking about the foreman who solved the case before it started. Welcome to the Autopsy. Like, subscribe, and let's carve into this circus. So apparently at Fisher College, the jury foreman from the Karen Read trial number 2 decided to confess, not to a crime, no, but to something somehow worse. He proudly announced that he made up his mind after the very first witness, and then never took a single note for the rest of the trial. Amazing. A murder trial treated like a TikTok clip. He watched for 3 seconds and said, "Yep, I got the whole story." This is the equivalent of reading the first page of a 400-page book and writing a review, or ordering a 5-course meal and leaving after smelling the bread. He basically speed ran jury duty like it was a side quest he wanted off his screen. And remember, his big decisive moment? The first witness. The EMT, Timothy Nuttall, who simply described the scene and said he heard Karen Read repeating, "I hit him, I hit him, I hit him." A statement that 3 other witnesses confirmed, and one that Karen Read herself basically echoed on television.
The evidence in this case will establish above everything else 3 points. There was no collision with John O'Keefe.
Again, I don't remember ever saying the words praying over him. I do distinctly remember I hit him, I hit him, I hit him.
She felt she struck something.
John O'Keefe to the defendant, sick of always arguing and fighting. It's been weekly for several months now. So yeah, I'm not as quick to jump back into being lovey-dovey as you apparently. 2:32:28 p.m. on the 28th. At 2:32:47 p.m., the defendant calls John. That call is rejected. John O'Keefe to the defendant, OMG, stop calling. 2:32:54 p.m. on the 28th.
There was no collision. At no time did my client walk over and have a conversation with you, did she?
She did in the video.
The closest I must have said was, "Did I hit him?" I know I said I hit him, but did I really say it as many times as law enforcement is claiming I said it?
There was no collision.
There's 0 chance this was an accident. There was 0 chance John was hit by a vehicle.
John O'Keefe did not die from being hit by a vehicle. Period.
If you look at the white part, it's the upper left. It's sort of like a rectangle, but it's vertical. It's like an encasement, but the right side, I think it was the right side, was sticking out a little bit, like out from the car toward me.
Did you express any concern about the metal sticking out?
Yes, because I thought at that height it could clip someone's coat or something if they were walking by.
She said, "Dad, I think I struck something."
From the defendant to John O'Keefe, so you're not into this anymore. 2:33:41 p.m. on the 28th. From John O'Keefe to the defendant, not into fighting all the time, correct. 2:34:03 p.m. on the 28th. From the defendant to John O'Keefe, if you tell me you're interested in someone else, you will never hear from me again. You can have all the space in the world. 2:34:11 p.m. on the 28th. From John O'Keefe to the defendant, he sends an emoji.
She said, "Do you think I hit him? Do you think I hit him?" And my answer was, "No, I don't think you hit him. I'm sure you hit something because your taillight's broken, but I don't think you hit him."
When my car was seized, there was a few small pieces of taillight missing that I had picked out at John's at 5:45 before we drove over to Fairview. I'm showing Jim and Carrie, look what I just did to my light, and I'm worried that there's going to be some kind of electric short circuit. There's like the bulb is showing, and some of the red plastic's missing. So I picked pieces out of the light housing that had kind of collapsed within the light and dropped them in John's driveway.
She asked if somebody could survive after having been found in the snow without a jacket, correct?
For many hours, correct.
What do you mean technically?
Technically, I was under oath, and I did not hear Karen asked Jen to Google it.
And yet under oath...
But I knew it happened at that time.
And yet under oath you said you did.
Correct.
There's also a box for signs and symptoms, right?
There is.
And nowhere in the signs and symptoms box is snarkiness mentioned, correct?
No, I don't think that would be medically appropriate.
Was that a lie? Did you lie?
I did not intentionally.
But you did.
And
Not intentionally.
okay, that's the end of
Understood
this.
the question, Mr. Jackson.
All right. Is there any other question, or is that it?
I didn't know what she just said.
I said I misunderstood the question, Mr. Jackson.
2:34:29 p.m. The defendant calls John. He rejects the call. John O'Keefe to Karen, the defendant. I'm not answering. Stop calling.
Well, she said that he had been out in the snow with no jacket on for many hours.
And you assumed hypothermia was your testimony, correct?
Yes.
You are not qualified to diagnose hypothermia, are you?
I'm not a doctor.
When you first saw Kaylee, what did she look like?
She looked distraught.
His mother leans over the kitchen island and says to me, I think he looks like he got hit by a car. He looks like he got hit by a car.
I hear Karen Read yell, Peg, is he dead? Is he dead, Peg? Peg, is he dead?
It's impossible for me to have any sympathy.
Was the weakest vodka tonic. It tasted just like all soda water with lime. Not that I needed to be a martini, but it might have had a splash of vodka in it. So I said, John, this drink tastes like it has no vodka in it. He said, just get a shot and mix it yourself.
The defendant, John O'Keefe, I'm going to grab a drink in a bit. 2:38:14 p.m. on the 28th. 2:38:42 p.m. The defendant calls John. That call is rejected. The defendant to John O'Keefe, can you please answer? 2:38:52 p.m. on the 28th. From John O'Keefe to the defendant, no Karen. Not sure why you need to announce that you're Not sure why you need to announce that you're grabbing a drink, but have fun.
So each drink was being counted as a double. So I would get a vodka tonic and then I would pour a shot into it. So that counts too. Frankly, it just felt like a regular cocktail. It was just a really weak pour. So I asked for a shot. So for my taste, it just tasted like that's the normal strength of what a drink should be. So I had maybe 2 or 3 that are being counted as 4 and 6. And I don't know.
She said they had, the last time they had talked, she had gotten into an argument. So she was upset that was like her last words to him.
To John O'Keefe, okay, can you please call me for 2 minutes? 2:44:14 p.m. on the 28th. John O'Keefe to the defendant, not right now. 2:44:23 p.m. on the 28th. The defendant to John O'Keefe, I'm there when anyone else needs me. 2:44:26 p.m. on the 28th. At 2:45:32 p.m., the defendant calls John. The call is rejected.
They were certainly working on him at the hospital as a hypothermia patient.
You don't know if your assumption was correct or not, sir.
I guess I don't.
So that one glass that I'm holding, that I go to the water bowl with, has 3 drinks in it. A vodka tonic and 2 shots.
At 2:56 p.m., the defendant calls John. The call is rejected. At 2:51:13 p.m., the defendant calls John. It's rejected. 2:52:37 p.m., John calls the defendant. It's not answered. At 2:53:56, the defendant calls John. Again, not answered. The defendant, John O'Keefe, you seriously cannot pick up the phone for 2 seconds. 2:54:13 p.m. 2:58:05 p.m., the defendant calls John. It's rejected. At 2:59:13, John calls the defendant. The call is answered and they speak for 4 minutes, 59 seconds.
And doctor, what was the result of the testing for alcohol in the defendant's blood when it was taken shortly after 9 a.m. on January 29th?
93 milligrams per deciliter.
It had probably about 4.
So that would have been my 5th, 6th, and 7th drinks. Then John orders me to drink the water bottle that I don't drink, that he takes with him. And then there was a round of shots that Chris Howard bought that I did take. So that would have been the night. But I did not consume 9 vodka martinis or take 9 shots.
I don't believe they're saying I wasn't in my right mind.
This appears to me, contrary to what you've argued, Mr. Alessi, that this is another violation of my order and of the reciprocal discovery violations. We need to figure all of this out before you're allowed to call these witnesses.
So, naturally, obviously, the foreman heard all that and went, ah, yes, perfect. She definitely didn't hit him because she said it to all these people. Case closed. It's like listening to a smoke alarm and deciding it means everything is definitely not on fire. Meanwhile, the mountain of actual evidence, the Lexus data showing the exact second she slammed the car in reverse, his phone that stopped moving at that exact moment and never moved again and stayed in pocket state all night, getting colder and colder and colder, the broken taillight pieces found under untouched snow around his body and in his clothing. All of that irrelevant, because our foreman had already spiritually ascended to his verdict after witness number 1. This wasn't deliberation, this was a magic trick. He made the entire case disappear. And the O'Keefe family never even had a chance. How could they, when the person chosen to guard justice treated the trial like a Netflix show he was hate-watching in the background? Our justice system isn't cracking, it's cratering. We've now entered an era where jurors apparently go in with their verdict pre-downloaded, and evidence is just optional DLC. And the worst part? The witnesses, the investigators, the officers, the people who were just doing their jobs have been dragged, doxxed, followed, and harassed for almost 4 years now. Meanwhile, the drunk driver, whose taillight was literally embedded in the victim's clothing, gets framed as some kind of persecuted saint. Because in this upside-down universe, ratchet chaos is rewarded, and the victim gets blamed for daring to be dead in the wrong spot. This isn't justice. This is what happens when people treat a homicide case like a fandom war on social media. And John O'Keefe deserved better than a foreman who checked out before the story even started. And what was the point of Fisher College having this speaker? To show us that the dumbest among us have the most power because there's more of them than there are of us? Maybe.